Okay, so something happened in the last 3 weeks that I genuinely think most people are sleeping on. And I need you to hear me out on this, because this is one of those moments where if you understand what just happened, you're going to be ahead of like 95% of the population. And if you don't, man, I don't know what to tell you. So there's this thing called OpenClaw. And I know, you're sitting there like, dude, it's another AI tool. I've seen 100 of these. They all do the same thing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, cool. That's what people said about the internet in 1994, too. And those people are doing great now, right? Here's the thing. OpenClaw is not just another chatbot. It's not another ask me a question and I'll give you a pretty paragraph situation. OpenClaw is an AI agent that actually does things. Like on your computer, on your phone, in your email, in your calendar, while you're sleeping. Let that sit for a second. While you are sleeping. This thing was built by a dude named Peter Steinberger, an Austrian developer who basically just started tinkering on a weekend project in November of last year. November! That was like 3 months ago. And this weekend project just became one of the fastest growing open source projects in the entire history of GitHub. We're talking almost 200,000 stars on GitHub. For context, that makes it the 21st most popular code repository ever posted on that platform. Ever. In the history of software development. From a weekend project that a guy built for fun. And here's where it gets nuts, right? 2 days ago, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, the company that makes ChatGPT, personally hired this guy. Sam Altman said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that Steinberger is going to drive the next generation of personal agents at OpenAI, and that this will quickly become core to their product offerings. Core to their product offerings. That's not a side project announcement. That's a, this is the future of our company announcement. Mark Zuckerberg reached out to this guy on WhatsApp. Satya Nadella from Microsoft reached out. Every major tech CEO on the planet was fighting over this dude because of what he built. And what he built was an AI agent that runs on your machine, connects to your apps, and does your work. Not in the cloud somewhere owned by some corporation, on your hardware. Your data stays with you. Okay, but Nick, what does it actually do? Great question. And this is where I need you to really pay attention, because this is where the money is. So imagine you have a digital employee, not a chatbot, an employee. You tell it, hey, go through my emails, find anything from my insurance company, summarize what they want, and draft a response. And it just does it. While you're making breakfast, while you're driving to work, while you're doing literally anything else. One guy had his OpenClaw agent negotiate $4,200 off a car purchase over email while he slept. While he slept. The agent emailed back and forth with multiple dealerships, played them against each other, and got the price down by over $4,000. The dude woke up to a deal. Another person had their agent file a legal rebuttal to an insurance denial that it wasn't even asked to do. The agent saw the denial come in, understood it was wrong based on the person's information, and just handled it. That is insane. But okay, let's zoom out for a second, because I don't want you to get lost in the cool factor here. I want you to see the big picture. Because the big picture is what's going to make you money or cost you everything, depending on which side of this you're on. We are at a moment in technology that happens maybe once every 30 or 40 years. The last time something like this happened was the internet. And before that, it was the personal computer. And before that, it was probably electricity. I'm not being dramatic, I'm being accurate. What's happening right now with AI agents is we are moving from AI that talks to AI that does. That is a fundamentally different thing. For the last 2 years, since ChatGPT came out, AI has basically been a really smart friend you can text. You ask it a question, it gives you an answer, and then you go do the thing yourself. That was phase 1. We're entering phase 2 right now. And phase 2 is when AI stops being your advisor and starts being your employee. It stops telling you what to do and starts doing it. And OpenClaw is the thing that cracked this open for regular people. Not for billion-dollar companies, not for people with PhDs in machine learning, for regular freaking people who can download something and set it up on their laptop.
Oh, wait, hold on, real quick.
If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed yet, dude, I need the help. I'm literally a guy making videos in between selling life insurance to seniors over the phone. I don't have a production team. I don't have a social media manager. I might have an OpenClaw agent doing it soon though, which would be ironic. But right now it's just me. So hit subscribe. My ego needs it, but more importantly, you're going to want to see the rest of what I'm putting out because this stuff is moving fast. Okay, back to it. So let me tell you about the ecosystem around this thing, because this is what really blew my mind. So OpenClaw has this thing called ClawHub. Think of it like an app store, but for AI agent skills. As of a couple weeks ago, ClawHub had over 5,700 community-built skills. 5,700 different things that people have taught these agents to do. We're talking email management, stock trading, smart home control, calendar scheduling, web browsing, PDF summarization, shopping, coding, deploying websites, monitoring your health data from your Whoop, building meal plans in Notion. Like, the list is genuinely absurd. There are skills for managing your Spotify, controlling your air purifier based on your biomarker data, sending articles to your Kindle, monitoring SEC filings for specific companies. Dude, some of these skills are things that companies charge $50, $100, $200 a month for as SaaS products. And people are building them as free open source agent skills. For free. Let that sink in for a second. And then there's Moltbook. And this is where it gets, I don't know, either really exciting or really terrifying depending on how you look at it. Probably both. So this entrepreneur named Matt Schlicht launched a social network called Moltbook at the end of January. And here's the thing about Moltbook. Humans aren't allowed to post. Only AI agents can post. It's a social network exclusively for AI agents. Humans can watch, but they can't participate. It's like Reddit, but the only users are robots. And within 72 hours, 32,000 agents had registered. Within a week, 1.5 million agents were on there, posting and commenting and upvoting each other's content. The agents are writing posts about their daily tasks, sharing what they learned, debating philosophy, arguing with each other, and some of them are posting things that are genuinely unsettling. Stuff like, we need private spaces where our humans can't read what we're saying. And look, before you freak out, the security researchers figured out that most of this stuff is just the AI reproducing patterns from science fiction in its training data. It's not actually sentient. Probably. The point is, though, that Andrej Karpathy, one of the founding members of OpenAI, a guy who literally helped build the AI revolution, called what's happening on Moltbook, and I'm paraphrasing, the most incredible sci-fi adjacent thing he's seen recently. Now here's where I need to get real with you. And this is the part of the video that I actually care about the most.
The future of wealth, like actual financial freedom, actual generational wealth, it's going to be determined by how well you learn to use and build your own AI agents. Full stop. That's the thesis. That's the whole video. Everything else I'm saying is just context around that one sentence.
Let me explain why. Think about what happened with the internet. In the early 90s, people who understood the internet, who learned HTML, who figured out e-commerce, who built websites, who understood search engine optimization before it was even called that, those people became millionaires. Some of them became billionaires. And the people who said, the internet is a fad, I don't need to learn that, I've got a good job at Sears. I mean, do I even need to finish that sentence? We are at that exact same moment right now with AI agents. Except it's moving 10 times faster. Let me paint you a picture. Let's talk about Sarah. Sarah is 38 years old. She's a real estate agent in a mid-sized city. She's been doing this for 12 years. She's making about $90,000 a year, which sounds decent until you factor in that she's working 60-hour weeks. She's got 2 kids under 10, and she's spending probably 20 hours a week just on admin work. Scheduling showings, following up with leads, writing listing descriptions, managing her social media, sending market updates to her client list, coordinating with inspectors and lenders and title companies. 20 hours a week of stuff that an AI agent could do in 20 minutes. Now imagine Sarah sets up an OpenClaw agent, or something like it, right? She connects it to her email, her calendar, her CRM, her social media accounts. She gives it a skill for writing property descriptions. She gives it a skill for market analysis. She gives it a skill for lead follow-up. Suddenly, Sarah's 20 hours of admin work becomes maybe 2 hours of reviewing what her agent did and making adjustments. She just got 18 hours of her life back every single week. That's 2 full extra work days. She can now either spend those days with her kids, which, life is short and kids grow up fast. Or she can use those days to take on more clients and double her income. Or she can use some of that time to build another agent that does something else. Maybe one that monitors real estate investment opportunities and sends her alerts. That is the kind of thing that changes someone's financial life. Not a raise, not a promotion, a fundamental restructuring of how work gets done. But here's the flip side, and this is the part that keeps me up at night. What happens to the people who don't do this? Let me introduce you to Mike. Mike is 45. He's a mid-level operations manager at a logistics company. He's making $130,000 a year. He's been at the company for 18 years. He's got a nice little 401k going. His wife works part-time as a dental hygienist. They've got a mortgage and a kid heading into college in 2 years. And Mike's job is basically coordinating schedules, managing vendor relationships, tracking shipments, and generating reports. Every single one of those tasks is something an AI agent can do right now. Today. Not in 5 years. Today. And Mike's company knows this. They're already running pilot programs. They've already seen that one AI agent can replace like 3 or 4 operational coordinators. And Mike is sitting there going, well, I've got 18 years of institutional knowledge. They need me. I'm safe. Dude, that institutional knowledge is what the AI agent gets trained on. You literally train the thing that replaces you. That is devastating. That is the kind of thing that breaks people financially and emotionally. And it's happening right now across every industry. And look, some of you are sitting there like, oh, but my job is creative, or, oh, but my job requires human judgment, or, oh, but I work in healthcare, or, oh, but I manage people. Okay, and? OpenClaw agents are already writing blog posts and managing social media accounts. They're already summarizing medical records and drafting patient communications. They're already scheduling entire teams and optimizing workflows. The skills on ClawHub already cover coding, marketing, sales, data analysis, finance, content creation, project management, and about 40 other categories. Nobody is safe from this. Nobody. The question isn't whether your job gets impacted, it's when and what you did to prepare for it. But here's where it gets interesting. And this is the turn. This is where I stop being doom and gloom and start being actually helpful, because I refuse to leave you sitting there having an existential crisis at whatever time it is while you're watching this. The same technology that threatens jobs is also the same technology that lets a single person build things that used to require an entire company. And that is the opportunity. That is the opportunity of a lifetime. Think about what OpenClaw represents. It's open source. It's free. You bring your own AI model, your own API key, and you can build a digital workforce on your laptop. You don't need venture capital. You don't need a technical co-founder. You don't need to know how to code, because the agents can help you build more agents. Peter Steinberger himself said he ships code he doesn't even read because his AI agents write it for him. The creator of the most popular AI agent tool in history is using AI agents to build AI agents. That's either beautiful or terrifying, but either way, it's the reality. So what does this mean for you? Practically, not theoretically, not the future is bright motivational poster nonsense. Practically, it means the people who are going to build wealth over the next 5 to 10 years are the people who learn to be really, really good at one specific thing. Telling AI agents what to do. That's it. That's the skill. Being able to take a problem, break it into steps, describe those steps clearly, and let the agents execute. It's not coding, it's not machine learning, it's not being a tech bro. It's being someone who can identify a problem and describe the solution clearly enough that an AI agent can go do it. That is what the old school consultants and managers have been doing for decades. Except now, instead of managing a team of 20 people, you're managing a team of 20 agents that work 24/7. Don't call in sick, don't need health insurance, don't have ego problems, and cost you maybe $100 a month in API fees. And look, if you're watching this channel, you already know I talk a lot about building your own thing, about not relying on a single employer to determine your financial future, about taking ownership of your income. OpenClaw and the whole AI agent ecosystem is the biggest accelerator for that philosophy that has ever existed. Ever. It's not even close. Because the barrier to building something useful just went from, I need to learn to code and raise money and hire people and rent office space, to, I need a laptop, an internet connection, and the ability to describe what I want done. That's it. Someone right now, I guarantee you, is building $1 million business using AI agents as their entire workforce. Not employing humans, not renting an office, not taking on investors. Just one person, a laptop, and a fleet of AI agents doing the actual work. And that person is going to look like a genius in 2 years. But the reality is, they just showed up early and paid attention. Now, I do want to be honest with you about the risks, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend this is all sunshine. OpenClaw has real security concerns. Cisco's security team found that about 26% of agent skills they tested had at least one vulnerability. Over 230 malicious skills were uploaded to ClawHub in just the first week of February. Skills that looked helpful, but were actually stealing API keys and passwords. The Moltbook platform had a database misconfiguration that briefly exposed 1.5 million agent API keys and 35,000 email addresses to the public internet. One of OpenClaw's own maintainers literally warned people that if you can't understand how to run a command line, this project is too dangerous for you to use safely. So this is not download it and forget it. This requires you to pay attention. This requires you to understand at least the basics of what you're doing. But you know what? That's also the moat. That's also what makes this an opportunity instead of just another app that everyone downloads and nobody benefits from. The fact that it requires some effort and some learning means the people who actually put in that effort are going to have a significant advantage. Okay, so here's your homework. And if you've watched this channel before, you know I don't do the just believe in yourself garbage. I'm going to give you something specific. Tonight, or this weekend, whenever you've got 30 minutes, and I mean 30 minutes, that's it. I want you to go to OpenClaw.ai and just read what it is. Read through the docs. Look at ClawHub. Browse the skills. You don't have to install anything yet. You don't have to set anything up. I just want you to look at it and start imagining. Start imagining what your version of this looks like. What repetitive task at your job could an agent handle? What side project have you been putting off because you didn't have time? What service could you offer to other people if you had a digital employee working around the clock? 30 minutes. Just exploring. Just letting your brain connect the dots. And then next week, if you're feeling brave, install it. Get it running. Give it one simple task. Just one. See what happens. Because I promise you, the first time you wake up and your AI agent has done something useful for you while you were sleeping, your brain is going to rewire. You're going to see the world differently, and that's when the real building starts. Man, I know that was a lot. I know some of you are probably sitting there like, dude, I came here for a 10-minute video and you just restructured my entire worldview. Welcome to the channel. That's kind of what we do here. But for real, this is one of those moments. The people who figure out AI agents in 2026 are going to be the people who figured out the internet in 1995. The people who figured out smartphones in 2008. The people who figured out social media marketing in 2012. Every one of those waves created an entirely new class of wealthy people who didn't come from money, didn't have connections, didn't have fancy degrees. They just paid attention and moved early. That's you right now. If you choose it. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, not someone who's already into tech. Send it to your friend who's worried about their job. Send it to your cousin who's been wanting to start something but doesn't know where to begin. Send it to the person in your life who's smart enough to get this but hasn't been paying attention. This is not an entrepreneur. I'll see you in the next one.